Welcome back to Rough Cut Woodworking. In this video for this series on cabinet making, we're going to focus on doors. Now there's going to be two parts to this. One of them, today, we're just going to go from raw material to the glue up stage. The second part, we'll take those glue ups and get them sanded down and cut to the right size, prepared for lacquering or coloring, however you want to. So what we've got is a very long piece of wood, about 10 inches wide. And what we usually do, if we're only making, say, one door, we'll rough cut some lengths out and then cut your stiles and rails out of it and mill them down basically one door at a time. In this case, because kitchens will end up with 10, 20, 30 doors, quite a few, we're going to have a process that allows you to make more of them at once. So we're going to have a bulk of material that's already cut to the right width so that you can draw from and just sit there and cut length after length after length and not have to worry about end cuts. So your last cut will be the beginning cut for the next one, and we'll get into that more as we go. First, we take our raw material. We have to get a good working edge. So what's the best way to do that? I'm going to teach you how to joint this 12-foot long board. Now I highly recommend you have one person to help hold it. It's doable with one person. Obviously I'm going to show you how, but it's a lot easier with help. So on the jointer, we're going to have the board, you're going to grab it from about the middle, and you're going to hold it right here steady and push it across. First, which way does the board go? Does it go this way or does it go that way? Look down the board. What you're looking for is a crown. Does it bow this way? You know, when I have it up like this, does it bow this way? That's called a crown. So when I look down this board, it's pretty obvious that the crown is on this side, crown up. I want the bulge to be up. Now what that means is when I start jointing, it's only going to hit the front edge and the very back edge at first. Once I go through a couple of passes, I'll be able to get it. But I found if the crown is down, you end up recreating the problem. You're pressing down and you recreate that big hump. That's the problem in the first place. So always joint with the crown up. Get it as close as you can. You can see I have a lot of up and down here. And take off the front edge. And I'm going to back it up and do it again because I know it's not going to hit the middle anyway. Okay, so we found the center. Now if you like, I like to just flip it around and do the same on the other end. We'll take the two high spots off on the ends. And now we'll start going full cuts. So that cut, I was able to cut the entire edge, but I still have a little left that it didn't quite hit. Good. The board now has one good flat edge. Now we go to the table saw. We take the board over to the table saw and set the right width. For this particular door, I'm setting it to 3 1/8, but depending on the doors you're making, that could change. So a little over 3 1/8. And then the goal here, of course, keep the working edge tight against the fence. I'm only one person, so I've got to try to maneuver it to keep it as tight as I can to get a good cut. Now, while what's left isn't quite enough for another 3 1/8 cut, I can use it for other things, so please don't throw that away. It's plenty wide. Now, by the time you're done making enough of these boards to do an entire kitchen worth of doors, you're going to have quite a stack. So go through, joint a lot of boards, get them cut to the right width, then you have a mound of material that's already pre-cut, so all you need to do is cut lengths. Then we can worry about avoiding these knots and other defects that we don't want to see. We bring the pieces to the chop saw or the upcut saw. I personally like the chop saw because it lets me see exactly where my cut is, whereas the upcut saw, it's totally covered, it's hard to actually tell. And the reason that's important is, first, choose the side that has the most knots and have that face up. So this side's pretty clear. Whoa, this side has knot, quite a few down there. We're gonna try to avoid those as best we can. Okay, but I can see where the knot is. That's kind of the point. So there's quite a few knots at the end, so I think I'm just going to flip this board around so I can cut from the other side. And we'll just start cutting from there. There we go. Now remember, your very, very first cut on the end has to just be a trim cut. You're just squaring it off. There's this green paint on the end. So we'll just take off an inch or two, chop it off. So now that end is square, and every cut I make in succession after that will also be square for the next cut. So according to my cut list, I need 2 stiles that are 24 inches long. So as always, set that to 24. And of course your dimensions could very well be different than what I'm telling you now. And make your cuts. You want to try to always hold the piece that's between the blade and the fence, okay, or the stop, because that's the piece that could move around. All right, now I've run into my first knot right here, and I don't want that. This is so small, though, I can't think of a place that I'd probably use a piece that tiny. So just come to the end of the knot, cut it off, and just get rid of it. I don't want it, it's not gonna be useful. The other cuts that I have are 10.5, 10.5, and then go ahead and make your other cuts. Then of course go through and make all of the other cuts, keeping in mind you want to make your longest cuts first. Cut all your stiles. They're always going to be the longer ones. That way you can avoid the knots that are in the board. So right here, this is smaller than what I need for a stile, but there's plenty here for a rail. So if I'm avoiding knots and cutting those out, I end up with shorter pieces. I'll likely be able to use most of them for cutting my rails. So always start with your stiles, your longer pieces first. Here we are in the back at shaper number 1, and shaper number 1 is for the rails only. So rails are almost always the short ones, almost always, but make sure you separate them as you're cutting them so they don't get mixed up with the stiles. In this case, you want to put your best face down on the table. So best face down, tight against the fence, and cut both ends. Now be careful when you're done cutting one end, you don't flip it over to do the other end, or you got to remake the piece. So best face down, cut, flip it around, cut again. Now we come just across the way to shaper number 2, and I've zoomed in because shaper number 2 is completely covered anyway with this feeder. So what we need to do, the same face you had down for the last cut, for the end cuts for these rails, that same face goes down for the edge cut. Doesn't matter which edge, but the same face has to be down. For the stiles, this is the only cut that they get. So pick your best edge, best face down, the same old, and just send it through. Hold it tight against the fence until I have to let go. So even letting go a bit too early, it may pull out just a little, and then you just have to recut it. To turn this on, turn the top right here to the 1 o'clock area on there. Turn it on and send them through. Now come to the table saw and cut out your center panel. In this case, we're just doing a flat panel. It's a 1/4 inch thick. It's MDF because we're going to color it later on, so it doesn't matter about any kind of veneer. So follow your measurements, make a rectangle. Bring all the pieces to the glue table when you're ready to glue, but do me a favor, before you glue anything, dry fit it together. This ensures that not only are the measurements I gave you are correct, and everything fits right and it'll work. So just stick your panel in and you'll notice this MDF is going to be pretty tight. And that's not a bad thing because it keeps gaps from happening when I spray it later. Now, this is tight, but what students like to do is they like to hit the edge of the panel. That's not going to work. It will drive it down, but it's going to mushroom the edge out, and then the piece that goes on top here, the style, it won't fit. So don't force it. Stick it in there, but don't force it in yet. All right, go ahead and put your rails on. And then we'll put the other style. Now I know that there's still gaps, but now I can either hit this a little bit because it is a little extra large. That's why we did 3 1/8. I'll take a piece of wood and I can hit that a lot harder than the rest of it. Get those nice and flush, and then we look at the other side. So, if you have extra like that, that probably means that your panel's too big, and I'll take it back and shave off just a little bit till it fits. So either the numbers I gave you were incorrect for whatever reason, or something may have just simply been cut wrong. But this is why we fix it. So take your piece, if it doesn't go down, and that's all the way in, take your panel apart, cut a little off till it does fit correctly. Took the door apart, fixed the panel, and now I'm ready to actually glue it together. There is one aspect of gluing that I want to make sure you see. So I'm going to get a little closer to the camera to do a closer up of the end of this rail. Now whenever you're gluing, this decorative edge, this is the part that goes towards the panel. If I put glue too close to that junction right there, that glue is going to squeeze out into the panel. Then you have to scrub it down with water and try to make it look good. So a simple way to keep that from happening is when you glue, let me tip that a little bit so you can see, is only glue that much. You can see there's quite a bit here that I didn't do, about 2/3 of it. The end, you can do the whole thing, okay, on the pin. Then when I flip it around, right there, I'm going to do the exact same thing from there to about 2/3 in. So I don't glue all the way in. That way, if it's going to squeeze that direction, it's not going to get all the way out. So that will save you a lot of time later on. Take your piece and stick it in and just work your way around. Let me show you what happens when you glue the entire rail, the whole thing, so you know what to do, how to clean that up if it happens to you. And go ahead and put it together just like you did before. Just want to make the ends nice and flat. That looks good. Clamp it up. As you can see, this corner has a lot of glue squeezing out. So you simply take a wet paper towel, and I mean sopping wet. If I squeeze this, some drops are going to come out, and you're going to try to not only scrub it out, but thin it out with the water as best you can. If you need a sharp instrument to get in the corners, that's okay. Go ahead and do that, like a pencil or an awl. Get that as cleaned out as you possibly can there, and that's good to dry.